Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to be doing the Unpopular Opinions book tag. So I have some good news and some bad news regarding this video, and the bad news is that a lot of these opinions are probably not going to go over well with a lot of you who disagree. But the good news is that you don't have to agree. This tag has kind of been circulating around the YouTube community for a little while now, and I thought I would jump on the bandwagon because it seems kind of fun, and I just kind of want to talk about these things that I don't necessarily agree with, and I want to see if you guys agree or disagree with me as well. So let's get started. What is one popular book or series that you didn't like? My answer for this question is the Selection series by Kiera Cass, and it's because I only read the first book of this series, so I guess I didn't really give it a huge chance to make too many improvements, but I didn't like the first book. The fundamentals of having a book that combines The Bachelor with The Hunger Games didn't really work for me. I didn't really like the characters, and I just thought that it was a little bit cheesy at times. Some parts of the book were interesting, and some of them I feel like it's probably worth reading if you haven't, but it really wasn't my cup of tea. What is a popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love? So I definitely feel like people have a general consensus that this book is the worst book among an author's particular works, and that would be An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. I really loved An Abundance of Catherines. I thought it was a lot of fun, actually. I thought it was very interesting how John Green combined languages and math and science and history, all these things. All these fun facts come out of this book, and it was so exciting to me to read it. So I really liked the characters, and I liked the storyline. I just liked the spirit that the book had, and a lot of people dismiss it as his worst, even if they haven't read it. But I really think that if you haven't read this book, then you definitely should give it a try. What is a love triangle where the main character ended up with a person you did not want them to end up with? For me, the answer to this question is the love triangle from Shatter Me. And if you haven't read the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi, I would skip to this time so that you don't get spoiled. So I really liked Adam. I thought he was sweet and gentle and not afraid to suffer for Juliet, and I felt like that was the kind of person that she needed in her life, given everything that she'd been through. But she picked Warner. Why? Because Adam went crazy in the last book, and I have no idea what went wrong with him at all, but all I can think of, I just didn't think it was fair to put him so out of character like that. That's not what he's like. That's not what he's like at all. But I understand why Juliet ended up with Warner, because he's definitely the character that will draw a kind of reaction from the readers. I get that he's the more compelling romantic interest, that he's the one who's going to give a little extra something to the books, but he brought mental and emotional abuse onto Juliet, and he tried to kill Adam, which is an automatic deal breaker for me. I thought that we could have appreciated Warner as kind of a two-sided individual without making him a love interest, and we just didn't do that, so we had to all watch Juliet ditch Adam. Okay, what is a popular book genre that you hardly ever reach for? For me, I like to consider myself a pretty well-rounded reader, and I look at my shelves. I have historical fiction, I have contemporary, I have romance, I have fantasy, I have all kinds of stuff, but I really don't tend to look for sci-fi books. I'm not a huge fan of science fiction. I can't explain this one, because there have been science fiction books that I've enjoyed. I just really am not a huge fan of the fifth wave and things of that persuasion. Usually, if it's a really well-written science book, I'm not gonna understand it because it's so sophisticated. I'm an English person, and that's not to say that I don't love science in other ways. I just don't like science on paper in my books. I don't like to read science. It's just not my favorite genre. I'll read it sometimes, but I wouldn't go looking for it first. Who is a popular or beloved character that you do not like? So I have to apologize in advance for this one because I know that a lot of you guys are a huge fan of Tobias from Divergent, but I didn't like him as much as I felt like I should have. I just felt like as the male protagonist, he should have had more interesting qualities. I mean, he was brave and strong, and I guess Tris thought he was pretty hot, which that kind of describes the general stereotypical male lead that you have in books. So I wasn't a huge fan of him. I just didn't think that there were any traits of his that were particularly compelling or interesting to me. So, I mean, he was a nice guy, I guess. Who is a popular author that you really just can't seem to get into? For me, I've read a couple of Jennifer L. Armentrout's books, and I don't like them all that much. I certainly laughed a lot while I was reading the first 2.5 books of the Lux series, but then I kind of gave up on it just because I'm not a fan of her writing style. It's funny, sure, but it doesn't create really, really interesting characters and a really just gripping plotline that I can't stop reading. I didn't like the Lux series at all. I thought it was a little stereotypical. I got tired of all the cliches that I was reading. It definitely felt like Twilight 2.0, and the funniest thing about that is that within the books, she makes fun of Twilight. You can't make fun of something and then write a book that's almost exactly like it. You just can't do that. I don't know, I wasn't a fan. What is a popular book trope or stereotype that you're tired of seeing? So like lost princesses, corrupt rulers, or love triangles. For me, I don't know that this is a trope as much as it is a recent trend, but a lot of YouTubers, a lot of the popular mainstream YouTubers have been getting published with books, and that makes me so uncomfortable because a lot of these people have so many subscribers, have just millions and millions of subscribers that are willing to buy whatever they put into the market. I mean, just because they have great content on YouTube doesn't mean that they're going to be great authors or put out amazing material that deserves to be on the New York Times bestselling list. It's just so awkward for me that these YouTubers who have zero writing experience whatsoever are becoming best-selling authors when there are writers that want to express themselves, that want to have that publishing experience, that want to have millions of people read their work, and they're just getting stepped on by these YouTubers who have never written something in their life. It just makes me sad, and I'm not trash-talking the YouTubers because I do watch Zoella for makeup tips, and I do watch Dan and Phil when I want to laugh. It's just, I don't think that they belong in bookstores. I think they belong on the internet and at meet and greets and wherever else they may be that they can contribute positively to. But I feel like there are real writers that really want to be published and want to gain the recognition that they're getting for something that's not even their craft. It just makes me a little sad. I'm sorry. What is a popular book series that you have no interest in reading? I have absolutely zero interest in reading the Mara Dyer series. I'm sorry, I know that a lot of people love them and I've heard amazing things about these books, but I read the synopsis and I read what they're kind of all about, and I've also looked at reviews of them, and typically I don't like to formulate my opinions about books based on what other people have said. However, it just doesn't sound interesting to me at all. It doesn't seem like something that I would enjoy reading. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We all have those book series that we're never going to pick up, and for me, Mara Dyer is probably one of them. Although, if you really think that I should, please let me know down in the comments. I mean, I'm definitely open to other opinions, but I haven't heard anything too fantastic about it that makes me really want to pick it up, as opposed to another book that I have on my TBR shelf. The saying goes, the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? So, to this day, I have never seen a cinematic adaptation of a book that is better than the book. I have enjoyed them. I've definitely enjoyed them. I mean, obviously the Harry Potter movies and the Lord of the Rings movies were A+ adaptations, but I'm not going to say that they're better than the books, because I didn't feel like they were. So I guess I can't really answer this question other than with a list of adaptations that I did enjoy. I really liked Paper Towns, for example. I thought they changed a couple key points of the book, but I liked the way they changed them. And that's not something I say very often, because I tend to like when producers stick to the book, stick to what's on the page. But in Paper Towns, they veered off a little bit, and I liked the way that it went. I liked where that path took them. So I feel like if I had to come up with an answer for this, I couldn't say that the Paper Towns movie is better than the Paper Towns book. But I can say that the movie did a really, really wonderful job of adapting the novel into something that belongs on the screen. So that is all for the Unpopular Opinions book tag. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please let me know if you agreed or disagreed with my opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye!